human misery, a horrendous 20th century. It may be that horrible period has actually influenced for the worse, made more negative, more negative energy, past and or future times. If that's true, then the other is also true. As we begin to raise the consciousness of the planet, it may well be that we can heal not just the future, but also the past. It may well be that in the end, if there ever is an end, I don't know if there is, but the goal then is that every human encounter, from the first Cro-Magnon who met the first Neanderthal, right through to whatever we would think of as the theoretical time being an arrow future, they'll all be loving. It's possible, I think, to heal all of human civilization, history, past and future. Now, am I stupid, or do you think that's possible?
No, we can have an effect upon the past, and we will have an effect upon the future. But we are creating this. It's a consensual reality. So we are creating this together. And so whatever it is that we send out, whatever it is that we're thinking, whatever it is that we're doing, those things affect the greater whole. That they affect the entire mind, and then that affects the reality that we're creating. And we can create entities. We actually can create entities that are less than good, that are evil, and they can come from thought processes. So in other words, then we can affect those who are in the world unseen, the world that affects this earth plane, and we can create them accidentally, not intentionally, but we can create them by being either loving and creating wonderful, warm, loving entities, or by creating the cruel and sadistic entities through our thought forms. So there's much, much more to thoughts and their influence upon the physical realm than people realize, because everything is, as you say, it's fundamentally consciousness. And because of the fact that everything is fundamentally consciousness, and consciousness is creating the reality we're experiencing, rather like we're being in a dream, that means that the reality that's being created from moment to moment then is influenced by consciousness, by our loving thoughts, our compassion, or by our cruelty and self-absorption. And we then are creating the world, what we call the physical realm, based upon who we are.
One of the things that people have asked me, and I'm sure ask you, is why doesn't everybody else know what? Because this is so consistent. Let me just explain to you the fact that we know, Craig and I, quite a number of people who have done research independently. Whenever we come together for the first time with someone who has done this research on his or her own, we complete each other's sentences. When Craig and I first met, which is like 10 years ago, I guess, Craig, now, we spent a whole couple days driving around completing each other's sentences. Everybody comes to the same conclusions, and those conclusions have enormous possibilities for the future of this planet, which is now in such bad shape. So that, don't you think that's the real crisis we're facing? If people knew what we know, there would be no wars, there'd be no people who are homeless. All would be healed, don't you think?
Yes, it's a spiritual issue. So it's a spiritual problem. The earth is who we are. So as Mahatma Gandhi said, if you want to see the world change, then you must be whatever it is you want the world to change into. So each one of us is an individual. If we want to have a loving, compassionate world, we have to be loving and compassionate. But if we do that, there is an effect called the Maharishi effect. And it has been demonstrated over and over again in large cities that have a percentage of the population, just a small percentage of the population, meditates and have good healing thoughts. And then during the period of time when they were meditating, then the crime rate would reduce, the number of patents, the creative energies would increase, the number of burglaries and the rapes would decrease. And it's called the Maharishi effect because it affects the consciousness, affects the whole city. And it's been done in Israel, it's been done in other countries, and it's been done in the United States and the United Kingdom over and over again. So we know that as we have even a small number of people who are more loving and compassionate, that will have an effect upon the people who are within the geographical area. And as more people have that sensibility in other geographical areas, then it will have an effect upon the whole world.
One of the people who's been on Seek Reality recently with me is Lynn McTaggart, whose new book was new a year ago. The Power of Eight is out in paperback. And what she does is to lead these experiments in good intentions, specifically targeted good intentions. And if you didn't hear her, you might go back and listen. It was just recently, within the last few weeks. Lynn McTaggart, The Power of Eight. And you can hear some of the amazing results that they have achieved just with people coming together, as few as 8 people, literally intentions that affect a whole city for positive, in a positive way. So I'm agreeing with you, Craig. It is so amazing how powerful our minds are. We have no conception. So if you're going around letting your mind be sloppy and, hating people and being cranky and, I wish I had a better life and all that, I need more money, whatever you're doing, you are creating ripples of negativity far more harmful than anything you could possibly imagine. So it's just very, very important to understand the power of your mind.
Yeah, and not only that, but when we have those thoughts, research has been done on the intention and the effects of intention. So they would have people who were intending for another person to feel calm and loving and feel relaxed, and another group of people who would have the individuals they were sending thoughts to feel agitated and stressed and angry. And what they found was that by using skin conductance, in other words, it's like a lie detector test, that people who were sent thoughts that were to be relaxed and loving and calm, they became relaxed, loving, and calm. Their bodies became relaxed, loving, and calm. And those people who were sent thoughts to become agitated and stressful and angry, they became agitated and stressful as a result of it. So that the thoughts of a person sent to another person do affect them, even though it's at the subtle level the people didn't realize that they were being affected. And that means that every time we have an angry thought towards someone else, they get it. They don't register it, but they get it at the subconscious level, and they know. That's why you have good vibrations about people and bad vibrations about people.
Oh, yes.
And so that we to watch that. Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about what I think is, and you think is extremely important, which is the fact that we have to get this word to the larger world. It is literally transformational when people understand what's truly going on. And I know that you just had a wonderful AREI symposium in September of 2018. I hear from everybody about it. It went extremely well. So what is AREI up to now?
Yeah, AREI is the Afterlife Research and Education Institute, and what we are doing is we are trying to help change humankind, and we're doing that by helping people to have afterlife communication experiences. We know of at least 16 different methods of having afterlife communication experiences. One of them is 98% successful, and so that all we have to do is find the right method for people, and then they can have communication with their loved ones who are now living on the next plane of life. It's as though they had gotten on a plane and moved to another country, and you're just giving them a phone. And so we can have that experience now. And we're actually recording the voices of people from who are on that next plane of life. And we're teaching them how to do it themselves, so they can sit in their living rooms and learn how to communicate with their loved ones. And we teach this. This is free. It's all free. And so then we will show them how to do it. It's on the internet at selfguided.spiritualunderstanding.org, and we teach people how to do that. So AREI is attempting to help people to have these spiritual experiences, and as a result of the spiritual experiences, then it changes their lives, and they become more loving and compassionate. And because they are becoming, it's whom they are, the result of that they will change, their family will change, the city will change as more people have that experience. Yes. And then the nation will change, and then the world will change. And so that's the goal. And the Afterlife Research and Education Institute is attempting to help the people who are doing the work, the researchers, the people who are doing the development out there, and we're attempting to help people to have these experiences in any way that we can. And this year is our big fundraising year, so we're trying to get funding so we can get this out to people. We want to help people to have these experiences. All we have to do is learn the right way, learn the method that works for each person as an individual, and they can have these experiences at any time.
One of the reasons that Craig and I and others feel that learning to communicate on your own with the dead is so important, of course they're not dead at all, is that until you're doing it yourself and you hear your mother, talking about something only you and she know about, or whatever it is that's going to click for you, you really don't understand that life is eternal until you have that experience. And when enough people are having that experience, however we end up making it happen universally, it will be impossible then for either the scientific Luddites, the people who are still trying to insist that consciousness comes from the brain, which it does not, or the Christian fearmongers. Neither of those groups will have any purchase on our minds when we understand the truth, which is that we are eternal, we are perfectly loved, and there's absolutely nothing that can harm us. So this is important. Yes, you get to talk to dead Aunt Mildred and you get her a recipe for whatever, but it's very important to really internalize to your very deepest being the fact that you and everyone you love is in fact eternal. So I bless your work, Craig. I'm so glad you're doing it.
Yeah, and we were anxious to get people involved. So anyone who wants to become involved, it is an effort that it rests upon the individual. Each person has to help. So we need people who are doing it, and so we want individuals to become involved.
So what's the website so that people can go and join?
It's afterlifeinstitute.org.
Okay, and it's inexpensive to join, as I recall. It's a very friendly organization too. You always want to feel, if you're joining people who know more than you do, that they're going to welcome you. And I never knew more welcoming people than the people who go to the AREI events. Now, tell me, are you going to do more of these big symposia, or are you going to do more online things, or how will you get this word out?
Yeah, there is going to be a 2019 symposium in Scottsdale, and we have a group of people who are going to be doing it. We're going to be focusing in AREI upon helping people to do this on the internet. So we're having what are called Zoom groups. They're groups in which people from all over the world are getting together they can sit in front of their computer and they can see the faces of all of the people who are online at one time. And we have people who are giving presentations, and we have discussions of issues. And those are available to anybody who's a member of AREI, and it's only $39 to join. So what we are attempting to do is we're attempting to get out to the world now. The estimate is that 60% of the world will be on the internet, and that'll be 7 billion people within the next 6 to 8 years. And we know that we can get to people through the internet, and so we want to spread the word, and we're going to be spending our time doing that in this coming year.
This is so very exciting. Craig, our time always flies whenever you and I are talking, and we will have Craig back with us again soon because there's much more he and I like to talk about, and we are delighted when we get to share our conversations with you. But any final thoughts about time? I mean, should people be concerned about time at all, or will this all unfold naturally? What do you think?
Yeah, everybody needs to spend their time doing the things that are their beliefs. In other words, they should be doing the things that they love to do, and then they should be learning how to be compassionate and loving by loving and being compassionate to people. And if they do that, then those things that they love to do during that now moment, during that period of time, will become more and more loving and compassionate. They'll become more fulfilled by it, and those around them will be as well. They'll be uplifted by that. And so we are going through a period of time in which we have nows that we can use, and these nows nows then are rather like money in the bank, and we can use these nows in any way that we want to use them. And the best way to use them is to be loving and be compassionate, and that will change the future, who we are in the future, and it will change who we were in the past. So we have to realize that we are having an effect upon other people, we're having an effect on who we were, who we will be, and upon all of mankind just by the way that we are in our love and compassion for other people.
Beautifully said. I just want to add the fact that both Craig and